morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here. That Journey Chick on Instagram. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Mine was like Saturday, I was in a funk, but Sunday had a great Sunday. Like I rebounded. But you know how I did it? Um, First of all, let me say depression sucks, but here's what I did. Yesterday morning, I challenged my team to put, at this 90-day step challenge that we're doing, to put on their favorite song and dance around the house. So I did that. I put my favorite song, which is like this Lady Gaga, hey. It's a really rocking song. E-O, E-O, A-O, A-O, something like that. Anyway, I love Lady Gaga. So, Ayo, ayo, we're rocking them all. Ayo. Anyway, so I put my headphones in and I get the vacuum out. I'm like, I'm gonna vacuum at the same time. I'm vacuuming and I'm dancing. So I'm holding the phone with the wrist that should be measuring my steps. I don't have my step counter on. What? Okay. I'm probably lacking the 30 steps I took this morning, or maybe 50. Anyway, so I'm going around, I'm vacuuming everything. I vacuumed twice to the kitten's dismay. They weren't crazy about the vacuum, neither is Tootsie. Then I look at my watch and it's like 300 steps. I'm like, what? That was like for the day. Whatever. Anyway, but it put me in a good mood. I listened to Lady Gaga, and then I am very eclectic when it comes to music. So I was listening to some Chris Stapleton and some Jessie J, whatever her name is. No, it's not Jessie James. Oh my God. Yeah. So let's daub and paint. So I was on my Zoom call yesterday, and I finished like all this color blocking that's right here. Just kept putting down the white. 3865, yep. It's so nice to color block every now and then. So we're on this section here. So what I'm doing with these release papers, after I take them off, I just put them in the back of my little Harbor Freight container. And then when I get a bunch, I just put them back into the package because you can reuse them, I don't want to waste money. Okay. And yesterday I learned to do the Cricut. Look what I made, a crown. We could just like put it right here, It's not going to stay. But yeah. I know how to use the Cricut Maker now. I know how to turn it on. I know. I got it connected to my iPad. I'll put the link to yesterday's video here. It was my live. If you didn't know that it could connect to the iPad, I tell you how to do it. So check that video out. Okay. I'm so jealous. There's a retreat this weekend, and I don't get to go. It's in Michigan, and I just didn't have the money to fly to Michigan. Now, the one that's in October, that is in Missouri, which is like one state over. So I will be going to that one because I can drive to it. I think there may be some openings for it. If you're interested in the retreat, it's a crafting retreat. Doesn't matter what craft you do. Contact Marissa McCartney on Facebook Messenger. Why am I so hoarse today? So, and I can't have my coffee because I'm fasting for my blood work this morning. I went through my ring drawer this morning and I got out one of my favorite rings. It's a little hummingbird. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I am a ring collector, if you haven't guessed by now. I'm jumping from topic to topic, aren't I? Oh, well. I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm so excited. Tonight is Crystal's Crafty Creations. Once a month, she does a planner. She does a live show, but it's all about planners. So I'm going to be on her show tonight. There's quite a few of the creators that are going to pop in to her show tonight, and just kind of show everybody what their calendars look like for the last month. Did we get any stickers? I got a few, so I'll show off my stickers. So check out that show tonight. Yeah, it should be fun. Oh, the kittens are in the craft room. Hi, Stitch. What is he doing? Oh, he's playing with the rug. Where'd Pearl go? Pearl! Oh my God, Pearl is in love with Tootsie. Oh my God, they're so cute. They give each other kisses. Yeah, you're a good girl. It's raining outside this morning and she's not thrilled. I actually had to put her on her leash and drag her outside so she would pee in the rain because she's like, ain't going. But I knew she had to go. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, you're just eating this up, aren't you? Okay, go. Go, go, go. Go play. Go play. Go play with the kitties. Where's Stitch? Go get Stitch. Where is she? Go get him. Go get him. Nope. She's like, nope. She'll play with him for a little while and then she gets tired of it. She's like, I'm done. Because they hide and they run to places she can't reach. And she's like, that's not fair. I'm 100 pounds. You're 3 pounds. Anyway. I do have to work today. So I'm going to go out, get my blood work, get a physical from my doctor. And then I got to come home and work. Work. Tomorrow I'm going to take the kittens to the vet to get their vaccinations. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting to tell you guys. Don't forget today and tomorrow are Amazon Prime Day. Now, I did make a purchase, but it's kind of a weird one. One of the Prime deals that they have is you can add a streaming channel to your Prime Video account. Because I watch Amazon Prime Video on my Roku in the bedroom. And a narrator was telling me, at one point, she was telling me about this really neat Masterpiece show called Mrs. Wilson. Well, at one time I had Masterpiece, but apparently, I don't know, my subscription expired or something. But so you could order Masterpiece. It was an Amazon Prime deal for 99 cents for 2 months. And then after that, it's $5.99 a month. So I'm going to watch as much Masterpiece as I can in the next 2 months. And if I really enjoy it, maybe I'll continue. But yeah, so that's the one deal that I look. So some other deals that I haven't clicked the buy button yet on, but if you're into Animal Crossing, they have some Amiibo card deals that are Prime deals. They also have, I was looking for like a small carrying case for the mini Amiibo cards. There was one of those that's a Prime deal. So check that out. What else did I put in my cart? I haven't, let's see. I put, I don't know if I'm going to get it, but another, a 4K webcam, which I think would be really cool to have 4K. And then I put in these, it's called Perfect T Ruler T-shirt ruler guide for alignment vinyl plate. It's a Cricut thing. And that was a deal for $5.19. And then there's a deal for Craft World 0.4 tip fine point pens for the Cricut maker and you get them in all the colors. There's 30 of them for $14.43. Um, the cards that I put in my cart are the Amiibo cards. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. 81 pieces for $27.99. That's a great deal, guys. That's yeah, that's a pretty good deal. And then the 300 pocket binder for the mini cards is $23.99. So, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to get all that. Uh, like I might get all the stuff, but I'm still thinking about the webcam. I don't know. It's only $47. It's like a $12 savings. So I think it might be neat to switch, step it up to 4K. What do y'all think? But anyway, check out Prime Day. I did look. There were no deals on iPads. So apparently Apple is not offering any deals. Because I was looking to see if they would offer an iPad. There's different kinds of deals. Like some of them are lightning deals. They're only up there for a period of time until, like, they only have a certain volume of those deals, and when they're gone, the deal is over. So you have to keep checking throughout the day. You can put, they'll show you what's coming up later, and you can put it on a watch list, and it'll tell you when it goes on sale. So just check out Prime Day. It's not, you're not going to save that much on Amazon devices. Now you can check, they have them as Prime deals, but it's just not that big of a savings. Really, if you want like a television or something like that, then you're going to find some really good deals. Electronics, other than the Amazon electronics. No, I love Amazon. No, no disparaging to Amazon, but it's just the way that it is. I don't know why I'm getting so hoarse. So I finished watching the Bridgerton series last night for the second time, and I have to say I enjoyed it as much the second time as I did the first. I picked up on so many like nuances of the show, like towards the end of the last episode, we see Anthony. He says he's going to declare his intent. He's going to find and declare his intentions this year, which means he's decided he's going to get married, which is where the second book starts off. So season 2, we're not going to have, handsome Simon, because the season 2 is going to be about Anthony. So that'll be fun. I don't know what's going on with my voice today. What national day is this? And I've already told my step group what national day it is. It's National Selfie Day. So I've challenged my step group to, while they're walking today, take a goofy selfie and put it up for everybody to see. So actually, selfie has become a real thing. Like that word is now in the Oxford Dictionary. How funny is that? So there's all different kinds of selfies. It doesn't have to include just yourself. And there's all different ways to take them. You can get one of those selfie sticks, You can do a duck face selfie, which is the subject pushes out their lips almost as if going for an exaggerated kiss, but it turns into a duck bill instead, hence the duck faces. Is that a duck face? Yeah, something like that. Bathroom selfies. We all know that we look fantastic in the bathroom because of all the lighting, and then when you walk out of the bathroom, you don't look so good. So take a selfie in the bathroom. Pet selfies. Take a picture of yourself with your pet. Bestie selfies. You take a picture of you and your bestie. Food selfies. This is a huge thing. Foodie selfies, where the person takes a picture of themselves with food. I know people that cannot serve a meal without taking a picture of themselves with it. Yeah, it's weird. My God rest her soul, my stepmother, she was Filipino, and she would cook these fantastic meals every night. And she got older and she couldn't do it anymore. But when she was younger, she made these unbelievable meals. But we always had to take a picture of it first before we ate it. It's not, this is not a selfie, but we always had to take a picture of the food. I'm very off topic here. Um, it was just her thing. Yeah, we had to take a picture. Yep. Um, oh goodness. Okay, let's do judge, jury, and journey. Do, 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 do. Okay, so let me just do like a little recap. I didn't do a show on Saturday, a morning show. I did an unboxing of Craftably. If you have not seen this unboxing, you have to watch. And not just because it's me and it's on my channel. This kit is incredible. I mean, this company has gone above and beyond. I'm not going to go into all the details. Watch the video. You will be blown away. Like I was blown away. So anyway, where was I going with that? Okay, so that's why I didn't do a Saturday show. Plus, I wanted to give everybody a chance to catch up with the judge, jury, and journey. So, because I know some of you save it to watch on the weekends, and so I wanted everybody to get a chance to catch up. So this is the murder of the FSU law professor, Dan Markel. He had just divorced his wife the prior year, Wendy Adelson. She never took his name. She's with the Adelson family, who owns the Adelson dental practice in South Florida. Her whole family is from South Florida. She grew up in South Florida. After she divorces Dan Markel, and I say she because it was her choice, she wants to go to South Florida with her two children, her two boys. He takes her to court, and the court says, no, you cannot do that. You must stay in Leon County, which is where Tallahassee, Florida is. So fast forward, you know, their divorce is final. They reach an agreement, but they're still litigating because they're both lawyers. They're, you know, filing motions about this and motions about that, and just it's getting beyond ridiculous. So Dan pulls into his driveway one morning after working out at the gym, pulls into his driveway. A car pulls in behind him. Two men are in the car that he does not know. And we know this because he was on his cell phone with another person. He tells that person, hold on, I don't know these people. They're unfamiliar to me. But the guy's on the phone listening to this whole thing. One of the two guys, the passenger, gets out of the vehicle, goes up to the window, shoots him, boom, boom, two shots in the head. One goes in the cheek, one goes between the eyes, splits his glasses in half. He survives for about 14 hours and then passes away. So fast forward to the trial. Now, who's on trial? The trial is the shooter, which is Sigfredo Garcia. He's the guy, he was the passenger that got out of the vehicle and shot Dan Markel. And we know this because the driver cut a deal with the government to testify against everybody in exchange for second-degree murder and a 19-year sentence that runs concurrent with the sentence he was already serving in federal prison, a 12-and-a-half-year sentence. So essentially, running concurrent means they run at the same time. So he just added 7 more years onto his sentence is all he did for second-degree murder. But he's already taken the stand. I've summarized that. I found him to be somewhat credible. You know, he was fairly consistent over the 5 years since this occurred, or since he was arrested, in his statements. So the other person on trial is Catherine Magbanua. So here's the state's theory that Catherine Magbanua was dating Charlie Adelson, which was Wendy Adelson's brother. He's a periodontist. She was dating him. He asked her, apparently, well, there's no evidence of this, but the theory is that he had her hire Sigfredo, who's the father of her children, to go up and murder Dan Markel. And I wasn't totally convinced of this until you hear the evidence I listened to last night. So that's kind of where we're at. So once the murder happens, Sigfredo and Luis Garcia, they call Catherine Magbanua and they say, it's done. When do we get our money? They get their money the next day. Catherine gives it to Sergio. Sergio gives, Luis Rivera his share of they split $100,000. Okay, so now we're at day 5 of this trial. Now, they put on a Detective Grossman who was he worked for the Miami-Dade Police Department. He was sent out to check out the Prius. So that's what he does. He goes out and he goes to the rental car company and he finds out that the Prius has been sold. The rental car company sold the Prius. So he goes to the place where it's been sold. I'm trying to turn the light pad on. Oh, sorry. Oh, God, sorry, Tootsie. She's being attacked by a diamond tray. Is it on? Are you on? There we go. Hi, baby. Sorry. I didn't mean to attack you. So he takes possession of the Prius for processing. It's now owned by a different company. It's a different color, but he said that when he lifted up the hood, he could tell that some of the original color was still there. The SunPass transponder was gone, but the VIN number matched the VIN number that he was looking for. And I'll explain later how it was that he came about to be looking for this particular Prius. So in any case, one of the stories that Luis Rivera tells is during their trip to Tallahassee, Sergio and Luis's trip to Tallahassee, before the murder occurs, they're in their rental car, and Sigfredo accidentally, somehow the weapon goes off. It shoots a hole, and it goes into the engine compartment. And so they call their drug dealer friend, Cedric Nobles. He comes out, he takes them to an auto parts store. They repair the engine damage with some duct tape, and they go on to commit the murder. So when this detective finds the Prius, he takes it down to the station. They put it on a special lift so he can, pretty thoroughly go through everything. And he removes the liner of the floor and finds the hole that went through to the engine. And it matched, it was the same size as a bullet hole. It just matched the story of Luis Rivera. So it gives some more credibility to Luis Rivera's testimony that, apparently this really did happen. And later on, we do hear from the owner of the first owner of the Prius, from the owner of the rental car company. And he does testify that, when the cars are returned, he says, I'm a very small operation. I don't investigate. We don't even thoroughly clean it. We just kind of, swish, swish, run it through the car wash, and it goes on to the next person. So he didn't investigate to see if there was, a bullet hole that went into the engine. So that was interesting testimony. Then we get the testimony of the preschool director where the two kids went. Because as you know, before the day of the murder, the two men followed Dan Markel to the preschool where he dropped his two sons off. Now, this director testifies that he saw the Prius in the parking lot and did not recognize it, but he did see it. So, and that was kind of his testimony. There were two men in the car. Then we get Cedric Nobles, the drug dealer from Tallahassee. And this guy was a piece of work. Black man, all gold teeth, all, gold teeth. And this, like a goatee that went all the way this way. And obviously not aware of courtroom decorum because he just said whatever came out of his mouth. You could tell he didn't think through what he was going to say. So, but intelligent because, he doesn't want to get charged with selling drugs. So his testimony is that when they're in Tallahassee, the two men that committed the murder, he was in his car at the hotel and they flagged him down, asked him if he knew where they could get some cocaine. And he's like, yeah, I can get some for you. Now, his testimony is he did not know them, never heard of them. And on cross-examination, the attorney's like, you didn't get your drugs, Luis Rivera wasn't your drug connection in South Florida. He wasn't supplying you with the drugs that you sell. And he's like, is that a serious question? What are you talking about? No. You could tell he was lying through his teeth. He's like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I said, it was so funny. But, so he said he overheard, they bought about $40 worth of cocaine. And he said he didn't have it in his vehicle. He had to go get it. So the attorney says, oh, you went to your stash house. And he's like, stash house? I ain't got no stash house. So he's like, well, then where did you get the drugs? You said you didn't have it with you. He goes, I know where to get it. I know how to get it. Okay, so he goes back and they go into their hotel room to make the exchange. He overhears them talking about having car trouble. And this was on the first trip because they made two trips to Tallahassee. The first trip they were unsuccessful at committing the murder. So about 6 weeks later they went back. So on the second trip, it's his testimony that they were broke down on the side of the road. He just happens to be driving by and they flag him down. And the attorney's like, are you seriously telling this jury that you were just happened to be flagged down twice by the same people? He's like, yeah, isn't that something? But we know there's phone records showing phone calls between these guys. So, and at one point, the attorney asked him, you know the difference between powder cocaine and crack cocaine? And he's like, yeah. He's like, have you ever, and you turn powder cocaine into crack cocaine by heating it up, and have you ever seen that? And the guy's like, no, have you? I just thought it was hilarious. His testimony was totally useless. I mean, he was not going to incriminate himself at all. It was kind of comical. So he's not on the stand long because he's just not credible at all. So then we get I forget what his position was, but he works for the SunPass company, the Department of Transportation's. So he comes in and he testifies that the subpoena that was issued for this transponder information was anything westbound on Alligator Alley. Now, if you're not from Florida, there's if you go down the west coast of Florida to South Florida or Southwest Florida, there's this road that crosses the state, and it's called Alligator Alley because there is absolutely nothing on this road. There now is two rest stops. There didn't used to be two rest stops. And I'm telling you what, if you better stop and pee before you got on that road, because otherwise you just had to hold it, because there literally are alligators on the sides of those roads. So, but now they've built rest stops there, so it's way more. It's a much nicer drive, so to speak. So the prosecution asked them for any Prius that was going westbound on Alligator Alley on July 16th, which is 2 days before the murder, which means they would have been going from South Florida to Southwest Florida, so westbound, and then they would have gone up the state to Tallahassee. And then he was asked for everything, any Prius that was going eastbound on Alligator Alley on July 18th between 3 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. And the only Prius, there was only two Priuses, or one Prius. There was only one Prius that was seen during those two particular times. And it came back to this, it didn't come back to the company, it came back to a particular person. That Prius was registered to an account for a particular person, which happened to be the owner of this rental car company, which is how they knew where to go look for this Prius. Then we had testimony from a couple of the rental car companies, because they went to one rental car company for the first trip, and then they went to a different rental car company for the second trip. So they just needed to get that evidence into, get the rental agreements into evidence. So that was the purpose of putting those people on the stand, the owners of those companies. Then we have Charlie Adelson's ex-girlfriend, who he dated. Now, Charlie Adelson, again, that's Wendy Adelson, the ex-wife's brother. He's a periodontist. He works in his, he and his father work in the same dental practice. The father sold the practice to Charlie, so it's Charlie's practice. But from this woman's testimony, we know that Charlie didn't exclusively work at the dental practice. As a periodontist, he would travel around to other practices. So he wasn't always at the Adelson dental practice. So this particular woman, she was beautiful, let me tell you. This one was gorgeous. She sat down for a police interview, and she said she did not know she was being recorded. But the interesting thing was during prior testimony, when Luis Rivera testified, he said when he got paid, he received the $35,000 in a paper sack, and it was all in $100 bills that were stapled in stacks of 1,000. So that's how he could count it easily. So this woman's testimony was that Charlie, she lived with him. She spent every night with him for almost 2 years. They were together. He had a very large safe in his house where he kept large amounts of cash, but he also had large amounts of cash sitting all over the house. And he would staple the money in stacks of thousands, or, a stack of 1,000 $100, 10 $100 bills, he would staple them. And she even said to him one time, why do you staple them? Why don't you just use paper clips or something? But anyway, he stapled them. This is the evidence. This piece of evidence right here made me go, holy crap, why isn't this man on trial? Why are they not trying Charlie Adelson for the murder of Dan Markel. Clearly, he was part of this conspiracy. I believe it wholeheartedly after hearing this testimony. Like, who else would do that? Staple $100 bills for sex in sex of 1,000. It's just too much of a coincidence. She also testified that he slept with a gun. He smoked marijuana. She never saw him doing cocaine. She never saw it. Okay. Yeah. So that was her testimony. Then we get the testimony of Catherine Magbanaway's best friend. They grew up together. This woman testifies that all of them grew up together. They all went to the same schools. It was Luis Rivera, Sigfredo Garcia, Catherine Magbanaway, and her. They all went to so they all knew each other, growing up. They weren't especially close in school, but she said later on she and Catherine Magbanaway became very, very good friends. Catherine is godmother to her second child. So during opening statements, Magbanaway's attorney insinuated that she had a large amount of cash because she was doing this. She was a marketing girl at one of these clubs where, like a bottle girl, and she was paid in cash. Well, we find out from this best friend who was doing the same thing that Catherine Magbanaway stopped doing that job in May. Now, here's a really important testimony that this woman offered. Huge red flag for me. That she was very, they talked all the time. That, and she was aware of where Catherine was employed. So she said, after she quit the bottle service, the next employment that she had, to this woman's knowledge, was a dermatology office. So now we do know that she worked at a dermatology office, but that was after the period of time where she allegedly was working for Charlie Adelson, and she was on the payroll of his dental practice. And this best friend had no knowledge of that. None whatsoever. As far as she knew, after she quit the bottle service in May, she started working at this dermatology clinic later in 2014. And by the way, the dermatology clinic was owned by Charlie Adelson's old roommate. Yeah. So he got her that job. Yeah. So this woman, who is, again, the best friend, she thought that Charlie Adelson had lent the Lexus to Catherine Magbanaway, and was surprised to learn that, no, Charlie actually gave her this car. So apparently her best friend was telling her that, no, he just loaned me this car. So her best friend was apparently lying to her. But she does say that, during the period of time that the murder occurred, she doesn't recall her friend acting any differently than any other time. The other thing was, most of the evenings when Magbanaway would work, Sigfredo Garcia, the father of her children and the co-defendant in this case, he would come over and watch the kids. He was apparently a very good dad. So he would come over and watch the kids. Well, apparently there was one evening in June that she had to work, and he couldn't watch kids because he went out of town. Now, she couldn't remember the exact dates, but if you put two and two together, this is probably when he made that first trip to Tallahassee. So that is where we're at with the testimony. And my God, I have talked the ear off a donkey today. Let's do this day in history real quick. So on this day in history, the Byrds came out with this song, Mr. Tambourine Man. It was written by Bob Dylan. Now, so I looked up this, and interestingly enough, the Byrds, when they recorded it, they actually worked for the same recording company. Bob Dylan wrote the song. I guess he gave them permission to, or maybe it was up to the recording company who recorded it. Dylan recorded it, but so did the Byrds, and the Byrds version went to #1 on the charts, and it was the only Bob Dylan song to ever reach #1 on the charts. So I looked up the Tambourine Man, and I found an old footage. This was back in 1965, and then the footage that I found was in 1964. Bob Dylan is at this concert, like at a little small festival, and he's playing Mr. Tambourine Man. And he's got his guitar and he's got his harmonica. And it's just funny because you can see the people in the background. There's like this old guy, and he's got his legs crossed, and he's kind of, he's got the old grandpa sweater on, and he's just like, like can't wait for it to be over. Then you see this other guy sitting in a chair, and he's leaning over and he's tapping his foot, and so he's clearly enjoying it. You look in the backstage, and you see this black guy poke his head around, and he's like, what the, what am I looking at? And you see him staring for a minute, and then he kind of just shakes his head and walks away. I thought that was hilarious. Because, I mean, you see this young Bob Dylan who looked like a goofball on stage with the guitar and the harmonica playing, "Mr. Tambourine Man, won't you play a song for me?" In the jingle jangle morning. I mean, I'll come following. Anyway, funny video. If you have a chance, look it up. If I remember, I could put a link to it here. Watch the other people in the background. It's funny. So, guys, it's been a great morning. Like I said, I got to go to the doctor's office. This video may be posted to YouTube a little late. I do apologize. But I will see you tomorrow in the morning show, or tonight on Crystal's Crafty Creations, her planner show. Love you all.